Hey everybody, it's your Thursday, Friday, Monday guy. Wore the shirt today. It's Friday, March 1st. So, hey, today, Isaiah chapter 5. So when I was a kid, I had this fella named Thurman Bailey who taught Sunday school at the Evangelical Free Church in Oakland in Northern California. So the nice rich people used to come out to where I lived out in the sticks and come pick up little snot-nosed Robert and take him to church. So, but I remember this. I remember Isaiah 5, because Isaiah 5 was the woe to those. And so that's how I learned Isaiah 5. Isaiah 5 was the woe to those. And the reason I call it the woe to those is it's woe to those. So if you read the King James Version, a lot of Isaiah 5 is telling us, um, boy, geez, let's see. Okay, oppression and luxury condemned was back in chapter 3, and then in chapter 4, he talks about the renewal of Zion, right? So then in chapter 5 is the woe to those, and most biblical scholars would call it the, oh golly, it's God's disappointing vineyard, is what biblical scholars would call it. But if you're from the sticks, then you probably call it the woe to those. You may have learned it that way as well. In fact, it's funny because my wife was just walking by a little piece ago, and I was telling her I remember little snotty girls walking by when we were all trying to learn Bible verses or the books of the Bible. Ezra, Nehemiah, and so, something Jeremiah, and I don't know, Hezekiah. So anyways, I remember how snotty they were when I was a little kid trying to learn the books of the Bible. But anyways, kind of funny. So Isaiah 5 though. Isaiah 5 is the woe to those, and I say that because it says it starts out like around 8. Basically, he's telling them, "Hey, it's time for you to get judged." Oh, the hat. I'm sorry, I'm still wearing the hat. Tomorrow is a Civil War. It's not Civil War anything. It is the Menorcan Festival in St. Augustine, and I am I'm the chaplain of the Sons of Confederate Veterans in local St. Augustine, and it is the Menorcan chapter. So they had the St. Augustine Blues and the St. Augustine Grays, and they were part of the Menorcan Society. And it's an interesting story about it. But anyways, I'm the chaplain, so tomorrow I was trying to pick a hat when I was on my way out here, and looked in the video and said, "What's that on my head?" Oh yeah, I'm still wearing that thing. So I'll dress in Civil War uniform tomorrow, which will be kind of interesting. And I am the chaplain, so of course I'll have an old Bible with me. And basically, the Menorcans were from a small island off the coast of Spain, between Spain and Africa. So, a little tiny one. Anyways, that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. But so the woe to those start off in about 8. It's windy today. It's chillier than it was yesterday too. It's kind of the same overcast, but just a little piece chillier. But around verse 8, it starts, "Woe to those who join to the house. They add field to field till there is no place, where they may dwell alone in the midst of the land." And then, woe to those, in 11, "Woe to those who rise early in the morning, that they may follow intoxicating drink." Ooh, I used to be there. So I was a woe to those. Then later on it says, in 18, "Woe to those who draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin as if it was cart rope." So, and then, "Woe to those who call evil good and good evil." Now, that's another t-shirt verse, right? So, and that would be Isaiah 20. Isaiah 20 is another one of those t-shirt verses that you'll see of those. But woe to those who call. Now you know what it's in reference to, right? So when you see it, it's like, oh, okay, where it actually came from. Instead of just having some obscure reference, you see the Bible verse there, and you go, oh, okay. That's a Bible verse, but in reference to what, and what's the context? Where did it come from? I mean, without the context, it really doesn't mean anything, and you can't apply it to today's society. I mean, there are some catchy phrases and like 91st Psalm, a great psalm of protection. You know, Ruth is, like I said, that's my wife's favorite. But without knowing the whole story and what was going on, you're kind of selling yourself short. You fall back to the just saved category. I told you, even Satan was a believer. Anyways, so you go into that, the woe to those. Woe to men mighty at drinking wine. Woe to men valiant for mixing intoxicating drink. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes. Got to watch that, right? Anyway, so it's a woe to those. And so, you know, it just goes on and on. Let's see. And then I wanted to bring this to a summation. Number 30. In that day they will roar against them like the roaring of the sea. And if one looks to the land, behold darkness and sorrow, and the light is darkened by clouds. So chapter 5 is pretty much the woe to those. If you have another take on that, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, gosh, it's a what shouldn't you be? So woe to those means what shouldn't you be? And you shouldn't be these guys. Mighty at drinking wine? Uh-oh. Mixing intoxicating drink? Who justify the wicked for a bribe? And take away justice from the righteous man. Whew. Heavy, 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 right? So, oh, you wouldn't take a bribe. Really? You wouldn't take a bribe? You wouldn't take money? Just to, you know, kind of settle down a little bit? Maybe you didn't even need money, but somebody offered you money and you were like, I'll take that money. And now we're paying it back. Each American owes $103,000 right now. Next week it could be $104. By the end of the year, $200. Who knows? Interest rates keep climbing. Hey, I'm not a politician though. But that's the other thing, real quick, and I'm going to end on this note because it's always nice to end on a good note, right? So I want you to really think about this. In the olden days, back in Wyoming, the first representative that they sent to Congress was a woman. And the reason they sent her is because men were stronger and they were needed out west when they were trying to settle the land. They knew what she knew when she was sent as a representative, how they wanted to express themselves and how she was supposed to represent them, because she was a representative from Wyoming. So they sent a representative. That's what everybody else was already doing. They were sending representatives, people who represent the population, not a segment of the population. They represent the entire population. But the majority of the population that put them there to represent them, those are the ones that they're supposed to be representing, right? They represent the people who voted for them. They represent the values of an area, the overwhelming values of an area. That's what they represent. They're representative, not leaders. Your leaders should be coming from the pulpits. Your leaders should be people of authority in your own area. Godly people who are maybe in charge of, like, I don't know, the sheriff's department. He could be a leader in your society. The pastor should be a leader, right? Other strong people in your society, in your community, they should be the leaders. Those are the leaders in society. The representatives are the people that we send. I'm not trying to be political, but I am going to say that if you don't know what to do, and you've looked in the mirror and you've already changed a lot of what you're doing, well, obviously our vote's going to count, but we need to stop sending ungodly people to represent us. That's the bottom line. Because I personally don't want to be represented in a fashion with things that I disagree with. I just don't. I would rather stay on the godly side of things. God's blessed America so far. But if we keep dishonoring God or pretend like he doesn't exist or he's not important, Isaiah kind of laid it out to us what could happen to us. And it's not just an Old Testament thing. I bring us all the way back to Isaiah studying this. I wanted to do this with you because that shows how old the problem is. I mean, it goes way back, even before that, but it shows wow, here's the first example that really plays it out. So it's played out a few more times in there. So if you don't see a pattern, most of you who knew me before know that we're good at recognizing patterns, correct? So if we know how to recognize a pattern and we're good at it, then go ahead and start reading this. Start reading it and go, I see a pattern there. Ungodly behavior brings ungodly rewards and wrath. So godly behavior kind of turns things around. It's called repenting. Hey, God, I'm sorry for what I did. I'm going to try not to do it again. I'm a sinner though, and I screw up all the time. So I'm probably going to sin again, but I'm trying not to. Just like I have a friend of mine. He has anger management issues, and he really wishes he wouldn't punch people, but sometimes he does. And so far it hasn't gotten him into a little trouble at all, but sometimes it has. A little bit of trouble with his wife, but not really with the law or anything like that. But one day, if he continues on this pattern, it sets a bad example. But that's one of the things he struggles with. He doesn't like when people say bad things to him. So, and I know several people like that. And it's hard. So the next time somebody says something bad to you, tell them to go back and read their Bible. And if they don't want to, then turn the other cheek. So, that's it. People shouldn't insult you. But if they do, just turn the other cheek, because think about it. We have two cheeks to be insulted by. And when Jesus said turn the other cheek, remember, that's in the book. He said turn the other cheek. So it's like when somebody slaps you. Boom, boom. Okay. It doesn't mean we're not supposed to defend ourselves. That's when people insult you, you turn the other cheek. Now, if someone attacks you, Jackie Chan, man, all the way, all right? And love him the whole time you're doing it. Because you got to love God with all your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. It's truth. But defend yourself. No one said we had to be weak. We're a different kind of Christian, right? Not toddy milquetoast.